Will Thrawn win? Will we know what calls out to Balin by the end of the next episode? If you have wanted to know the answers to these questions, I have some news and leaks for you. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video because that's when they get even more juicy. The first supposed leak that I will be telling you guys about is one I mentioned in my last leaks video for episode 7, and we didn't get the answer in that episode, so I'm going to cover it in this one. This all has to do with what kind of army the Night Sisters will use to help Thrawn. According to Christopher Mark on Twitter, we will be seeing Zabrak troopers wearing white and burgundy uniforms. I speculate if this is true, either Zabraks and Night Sisters are what's inside the caskets being loaded onto Thrawn's ship, or they go back to Dathomir to gather up some Zabraks for the army. For the next thing I want to mention is that Rosario Dawson, the Ahsoka actress, said on an interview with ABC on the final episode, the cameras were behind me and we were facing toward the volume in the middle of this battle. Now I believe this would be a fight on board the Chimera against the Remnants and the Night Sisters, and it makes sense that this would also be during a fight that Ahsoka has with Morgan, because the actress who plays Morgan, Diana Lee, said this: Ahsoka and Morgan have another long and involved intense fight scene. These could have something to do with each other, but who knows. Now the next leak I'll cover is from Economics Legal. The Redditor who has gotten nearly everything right since episode 3 has stated that the Night Sisters from Peridia do not necessarily fight themselves. Rather, they do affect the fight. I wonder if this means they will be using magic to distract or injure any of the heroes in the last battle we may see in this final episode. So if you guys think back to the Rebels finale, Ahsoka is seen in her white robe she has now, as well as a staff. No, not a staph infection, just a staff. We don't know anything about this staff, but supposedly Ahsoka will not get her staff in this season according to the Reddit user I mentioned earlier. But on the contrary, we will supposedly see an owl at the end of episode 8, and if you have seen the Clone Wars or Rebels, you may recall who I'm talking about, and the owl's name is Morai. Morai, if you don't know, is basically the form of the daughter from Mortis, who is essentially this light side god in the Star Wars galaxy, who helped save Ahsoka's life and now sorta lives within Ahsoka. And when the daughter saved Ahsoka, this white and green owl called Morai, who is just a form of the daughter, is now following and watching over Ahsoka. So this is good news for Morai fans, including myself. Now along with Morai appearing, according to Economics Legal and Bespin Bulletin, we will be seeing Anakin Skywalker as a Force ghost appear to Ahsoka in the Living Force and basically wave.
Wave, you idiot! Wave!
I hope he actually talks to Ahsoka like he did in The World Between Worlds, but I don't know if he would have too much to say at the moment. Anyways, now here comes the juiciness of this episode. As we all speculated because of the trailers, Thrawn does win in this season and returns to the known galaxy, imposing the biggest threat that the New Republic has seen. Along with Thrawn's victory comes one of the heroes lost. I am talking about a hero that is supposedly going to stay on Peridia, and not willingly. We aren't told who, but I would speculate it to be Ahsoka, because it wouldn't make sense for either Sabine nor Ezra to somehow get in a timeout in this galaxy.
Up to a corner, you're in the timeout!
Ezra because he just got rescued, and Sabine because, well, what purpose would she have staying there? I think it would be perfect to pull on our heartstrings if Ahsoka was the only one who couldn't make it back to the known galaxy and make for a fun and even greater story. Now some may say, oh well, what about Balin? He has seemingly dropped everything he knew and wanted to find out, just so he could find out what's calling him. And while you're right about that, the League states that it will be a hero that stays behind. Balin is more of a dark Jedi, but I guess we will find out Tuesday. Moving on to the next thing we are told about this episode actually comes straight from Lars Mikkelsen himself, who says, you will probably not know totally what it is all about until the last scene. This more than likely is talking about the greater threat to the galaxy, which isn't Thrawn or the Empire's return. There were rumors before this show came out that Thrawn only wanted to re-establish the Empire to get rid of the New Republic because they are soft and don't want war. Meanwhile, there is a bigger threat to the galaxy and Thrawn's species, the Chiss, which he actually cares about more than anything else, which is why he wants the new Empire to return. Now I believe that maybe the power calling to Balin is the bigger threat to the known galaxy, or that the power calling to Balin is there to warn him about the threat. I'll lean more towards the first one, but maybe we will see a hint of what's going on more in the last episode. Now outside of this episode's leaks, I have some very good news for Shin and Baylan fans, and making Star Wars claims that this show demands not only a season 2 based off the finale, but also more of Shin and Baylan going forward. I hope that the tragic passing of Ray Stevenson doesn't affect the character's story and that they just recast him instead, because I really want more of Baylan's character. In my opinion, he's the coolest new character we have gotten in this show. Make sure to let me know what you think about all of this down below in the comments, and yes, I respond to everyone, so actually comment. Now if you enjoyed this video, make sure to support the channel by clicking that subscribe button and hitting the like button. Thank you all for watching, and as I always say, Jesus loves you and may the Force be with you.